732 bytes of Python. That's all it takes to become root on virtually every Linux server on the planet. This bug has been hiding in the Linux kernel since 2017. 9 years. No race condition, no timing tricks, just a logic flaw that gives you root every single time. The bug is called copy fail, CVE 2026-31431. Local privilege escalation, rated high severity. Microsoft, Wiz, Sophos, Cert EU, everyone dropped advisories on the same day. You've heard of dirty cow. You've heard of dirty pipe. Those needed race conditions. You had to get lucky. Copy fail doesn't need luck. It's deterministic. Run the script, get root, done. So where does this bug live? Deep in the kernel, in a module called algif-aed. It's part of AFALG, the userspace crypto API that lets programs talk directly to the kernel's cryptographic engine. AFALG is how your apps do encryption without shipping their own crypto libraries. VPNs, disk encryption, TLS termination, they all lean on this interface. Here's where it gets ugly. The algif-aed module has a read message function. It handles reading data back from the kernel after an encryption or decryption operation. When you copy data out of the kernel buffer, there's a bounds check that's supposed to prevent you from reading past the end. But the check is wrong. It compares the wrong variables. So you can read kernel memory you were never supposed to see. A memory read by itself is bad, but the exploit chains it. Leak kernel addresses, defeat KASLR, then use the same flaw to overwrite a set UID binary. One script, 4 steps, root. And someone packed the whole thing into 732 bytes of Python. Not 1,000 lines of C with a custom kernel module. Python, the language you use to rename your vacation photos. The exploit needs 0 special permissions. No network access required, no timing window, just any local user account, even the lowest privilege shell on a shared host. Red Hat, Ubuntu, SUSE, Amazon Linux, Debian, Fedora, Arch. If it's running a Linux kernel from the last 9 years, it's vulnerable. That's essentially every server in every cloud, and that means millions of Kubernetes clusters, every EC2 instance, every GKE node, every container running on a vulnerable host kernel. Containers don't save you here. The bug is below the container boundary. The flaw was introduced in a 2017 kernel commit. It sat there for 9 years until a security researcher found it in April 2026. Disclosure happened April 29th. Advisories dropped May 1st. The mainline kernel fix is commit a 664 BF3D603D, one comparison operator. That's it. 9 years of root access, fixed by changing one line of code. But here's the thing about kernel patches. The fix is in mainline. Now every distro has to backport it, test it, publish it, and then every admin on Earth has to actually apply it and reboot. That takes weeks, sometimes months. The immediate workaround, disable the algif-aed kernel module. If your workload doesn't use userspace AEAD crypto, and most don't, you can blacklist the module today and cut off the attack surface. But if you're running WireGuard or dmcrypt for full disk encryption, disabling the module might break things. Most web apps never touch AFALG directly, but your infrastructure might. Copy fail isn't remote like Log4Shell, but for anyone already on a system, a compromised container, a shared host, a supply chain foothold, this is the cleanest privilege escalation in years. Picture this. An attacker gets a low privilege shell through a web app vulnerability, SQL injection, SSRF, whatever. Normally that's a contained incident. With copy fail, it's root in seconds. And from there, the entire cluster. Copy fail is the 4th major infrastructure vulnerability in 2 weeks. cPanel, Bluehammer, GitHub RCE, and now a kernel bug that's been hiding since 2017. The foundations are showing cracks. What should you do right now? Check your kernel version. Blacklist the module if you can. Apply your distro's patch the second it drops. And audit every container host, because the container won't protect you from a kernel bug. 732 bytes, 9 years, every server. Patch your kernel. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one.